Chicago native N'Namdi Bryant was born into a musical household. At an early age, N'Namdi was introduced to the wonderful world of a cappella music and grew to love all things harmonic. Inspired by such artists as the Breath of Life Quartet, Singers Unlimited, the High Lows, the Singing Men, Take Six, all that are making me real excited right now as I think about all this wonderful music that these individuals have produced, and the incredible Bobby McFerrin. N'Namdi has dedicated his life to a cappella music. He's known affectionately by some as the A Cappellian. You may hear his music from time to time on this broadcast and much more on WJOU Praise 90.1 FM. I'm so delighted to welcome to the broadcast N'Namdi Bryant. What's up, brother?
My brother, Kenny Anderson. Thank you so much for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, this is the first, and I'm just kind of kicking myself around because I'm like, I just celebrated my 30th anniversary a few weeks ago.
Congratulations. I wanted to tell you that.
Thank you, man. But the reality is that I now have this opportunity to actually talk with you about this experience. And this is the first time that this is happening?
Isn't it crazy? You know, I think the first time we sat down to talk, period, at length was at a Take Six concert in Nashville.
Yeah.
Probably 2016.
That's right. And it was actually, that's right. It was actually the combination of Take Six and Manhattan Transfer.
That's right. That's right. We sat at the same table.
Great concert, too, by the way. And just the place I would probably find you because, again, a cappella music is your thing.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, but listen, Chicago native, grew up on the south side of Chicago?
South and west side.
South and west side.
Both of
Well,
them.
nothing wrong with that. Talk about your early musical experiences.
Oh, wow. It started at home, of course, at every Thanksgiving gathering. Thanksgiving for us was a family reunion, and that's all I saw. Was the entire family was musical. And then, of course, in our household, in my home, my mother was the musician, and she loved harmony. And my first recollection of singing publicly was at church, at the Independence SDA Church on the west side. My mother, myself, and my older brother Wade, we sang If We Ever by the Breath of Life Quartet. And I had to have been probably, I think I was 3 years old.
Wow.
And I sang the harmony part. So
wow.
Just a little.
Wow. And I would imagine, you have such this long, rich history of connecting to music in so many different ways. Many people have said music is a universal language. It's been identified in so many ways. The power of music means what to you?
Oh, wow. It transcends all kinds of just nonsense. Whether you like me, some people have no idea, what I look like until they see me. One time, a lady thought, I don't know if I can say this, but she said, I thought you were light-skinned. Because I was singing in my falsetto. And as you can see, I'm far from, I've been kissed by the sun many times. But music just allows you to communicate in ways sometimes a preacher can't. And I'm just grateful that God has given me the gift of music.
Yeah. It is a gift indeed. And we think about the very trying times that we're living in right now, very difficult year this past year for so many people. And the reality is that there are things that music can do, places that music can take us that nothing else can do. I mentioned some of your earlier influences, and I want you to dig a little deeper into that and talk about those because they're some of my influences, even though I'm not a singer, or at least not publicly. I always say that.
Prove that. Well, go ahead.
Well, listen, I say I win Grammy Awards in my car in the shower, but but beyond that, I want you to talk about those individuals, those groups, those experiences, those musical experiences that have had the most profound effect on you in shaping who you are as a musician.
Okay, good question, Kenny. So my oldest brother, Wade, man, without him, I have no idea where I'd be. he introduced me to groups like Alliance, as we now know as Take Six.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, my parents, my family, my high school choral conductor, Mrs. Jeanette Underwood. She is totally responsible for the vocal range that I have. When I only wanted to sing bass, she pushed me to sing solos. And it's because of her I can do what I do. And then, of course, Take Six, man. I mean, hands down. 1986, May 1986, they came to Chicago, and it blew my mind. I was 10 years old at the time, and I said, I'm going to sing a cappella for a living.
Wow.
Not just I won't be a musician. I'm going to sing a cappella for a living.
Wow.
And that, prior to that, I thought I was going to become a meteorologist or an architect. But they left such a huge impact on me. And I just remember seeing the guys, so much so that I remember what they were wearing. This was 1986.
Wow.
And, who else?
Well, let's start.
Ted Rivers.
Well, hang on. Hold that thought for one moment, because now you're really getting into the legends.
Come on now.
So what was it that was so profound about the Take Six experience? Because we look at these guys. They've been on the scene now for over 30 years. They're doing it even today, in my mind, as well as they've ever done it before. They have really perfected the craft of a cappella music, collaborative relationships with other artists and more in terms of interpreting the lyric, et cetera, et cetera. And I watch Take Six now, and I tell people all the time, you may have a Take Six CD, you may have them loaded on your device, but you got to see these guys in person.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
will take you to another level.
And that's exactly what it did. Even it transcended music. I do voiceovers. Why? Because Alvin Chia did it. And when I saw him, I won't give the name, whatever the commercial he did, but I remember sitting down with him, and he coached me. He gave me ideas and tips, and I learned that I could do arrangements for other people, jingles through Mark Kibble, Cedric Dent. Wow. I can call him on the phone at any given moment, and pretty much he'll pick up and just talk. We'll talk for hours on end about just some life, marriage, arranging, all kinds of stuff. And how did they impact me? Everything, in so many ways that I can't even, just elaborate on.
Yeah, and of course we respect them so much.
Highly.
They are, for me, the standard. As many people who have been in that a cappella arena in the past, over the course of music history as we know it, they are, for me, the platinum standard, and continue to be today. I had to step it up from gold. Gold is cool, but I had to take it on up to platinum, because that's where these guys are.
That's right.
And still, just very down to earth people like you're describing right now. Very accessible, very connected to their humanness, family concepts, and other kinds of things of that nature. You mentioned Bobby McFerrin as one of your influences, and I'm getting goosebumps right now, because when I think about Bobby McFerrin, and shame on you if you don't know who Bobby McFerrin is, but I'm just going to throw out "Don't Worry, Be Happy," okay, and then you'll kind of bring at least that into the fold, and you might say, "Oh, that's Bobby McFerrin." Of course, if you know that's Bobby McFerrin, then you're good. But "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and so much more. I mean, his legacy is so rich. Talk a little bit about Bobby McFerrin's influence.
Wow. The fact that he was I don't want to say the original one-man vocal band, but pretty much, yes, he was. And shower performer, you're in the car at the bus stop. I do that constantly. I'm beating on my chest, making a bass line, and there's a song. And I've seen this guy walk on stage surveys his audience, and he'll go from there. Okay, let's do this. He just goes, and all of a sudden there's a 5,000 member choir. And I'm saying, how on earth did he do that?
Yeah.
One thing about Bobby, I think his first album was released, and he had a tour in Europe. And I guess the promoters were asking, so who is this guy? What does he do? He beats on his chest and sing? Nah, they canceled his tour. He puts out Don't Worry, Be Happy, which is the last song that made the album, which he hated. In fact, he'll come out on stage, I'm not singing that song. I've done so much more than Don't Worry, Be Happy. And it was a success.
Yeah.
A lot of people told me, are you sure you want to do an a cappella album? You know, not since Take Six, and that was a fluke. I said, oh, really? Okay. And I'm glad I did not listen to them because I saw what Bobby McFerrin did. Sure, he's not on the radio, but you go to his concert, you need to show up on time,
right?
Or you won't have a good seat. He taught me Bobby McFerrin, and I'm kind of shifting gears here. There's another Huntsville native, a gentleman by the name of Mark Williams. I remember he pitched the idea of me doing the one-man vocal band, and he said, look, you'll be the Christian Bobby McFerrin. Well, how can I do that? I can't sing by myself and take it on stage. He said, no, we'll write the songs so that you can sing on top of your harmony. And from that, we're here. That was 2003.
Wow.
And because of Bobby, I'm doing it now.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Talk a little bit about the process. When you're beginning to think about, I'm going to do something musically, I'm going to produce something, arrange something, write something. Talk about your process.
It's a silly process. Usually it stems from a conversation, me trying to get my kids to do something they don't want. And I'll make a silly song until it gets on their last nerve. And I said, wow, that's a good line. And I'll go in my studio and record it. That's one process. There are several others. Sometimes it comes to me in a dream, the full song, and I'll just do it. Others, I'm literally walking down the street, just at the gym, and I lay it down.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So is there a part of the process, not so much of creating this music, but it's just a part of the whole landscape of the space that you're in right now that you enjoy more than others and tend to perhaps invest more in that than others? And then where are the areas that you're even saying in this moment, I want to grow, I want to explore, I want to innovate perhaps? Because I know that's part of the creativity that comes with what you're doing.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. Wow. So earlier in my career, it was all Take Six, Breath of Life. And I said, okay, if I'm going to do this Bobby McFerrin thing, I need to switch it up just a little bit because I can't sing a He Never Sleeps on stage by myself. But I started to study your boys from New York, Naturally Seven. And that opened up. Wow. I said, oh, my goodness. So you can be a band. You can be an instrument, i.e. vocal play on the stage. And not just that, I'm so much of a vocalist. If I'm at church or any venue and there's a band, then they're vocalists, I'm not listening to the vocalist. The band is what I'm paying attention to because that's what I'm hearing in my head. And I say, okay, I can apply that to this song. So that drum, okay, that bass line, okay, I hear the lead guitar, okay, and then the horns. Oh, well, that's 7 parts right there. And I mean, I can go on and on and on. I can do a 12-part harmony song if I wanted to.
Do you have a favorite instrument?
No, I don't think so, but I know when I'm singing, I always do the bass. Yeah. I don't know. I think I gravitate toward the bass. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It could be the bass or some brass instrument.
Yeah.
I know one time I was on the praise team with my wonderful wife, who kicked me off of her praise team because the band went into this vamp and I felt the vamp. So I told the band to keep going. And she was leading out. And she told the band to stop. You know, here, we're going to go to this worshipful song, but I wanted to finish out this groove. And she kicked me off her team. Thought I'd throw that in there.
Well, listen.
Happy birthday, honey.
Well, listen, bringing up your wife, Rhonda, who has been on the broadcast before, talk about being a family man as well, because I'm sure that that's a significant part of who you are and your personal identity in the midst of all this music as well. And then do you see yourself transferring your musical love and talents to your family?
Yes and yes. My kids love music, especially my princess, my 8-year-old. She took it and ran with it. She's not so much of a harmony buff, but she still loves music. At first, as a teenager, I said, my kids have to be musicians. Now, as long as you appreciate music and use it to make good decisions or just to travel, I'm fine if that's what you use it for. The other question you asked, there's nothing I love more here on earth than I love music, except for my family, God and my family. I had a chance the first go round, I had a chance to sing with Naturally 7. And at this time, they were touring with Michael Bublé and doing 250 dates a year.
Yeah.
And my family was young, just getting started. I think I had been married maybe 2 years. I said, man, you know what? Nah, I can't. It won't work. And I remember hanging up the phone and I said, did I just turn that down?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. What have I become? N'Namdi, this is a chance of a lifetime. And God knew what was best for me because he knew I needed we're a blended family, first of all. So God knew that I needed more time with my son. And had I been on the road doo-wopping, that wouldn't have happened.
Right. And then when you think about priorities and what really matters and what's produced on the other side of that, investment, you chose to invest in your family.
That's it. That's it. And it has blessed me.
Yeah.
Because had I joined a Naturally 7, they wouldn't. They're not going to sing my song. One, because that's someone else's car. So you're not going to give me the keys. I'm a rookie. So God allowed me the platform to create. And now I'm 4 albums in since that decision. So
yeah. And all good stuff, by the way. You mentioned that this is your 4 albums in, and you have a new release, which is Blue Suits and Afros. I got to hear a little something about, first of all, the title, and then let's talk about the content.
Yeah, so when you think of it, when you heard the title, what did you think of?
I thought about some doo-woppers standing on the corner, perhaps performing, kicking it around a little bit. Thought about a talent show in the 70s. I mean, I kind of went back a little bit in my mind because I am a child of the 70s,
right,
and so I saw a little imagery there that I could really connect with.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So, back in 1979, Christmas 1979, my brother Wade received a Christmas gift. That Christmas gift was an album cover with 4 dudes wearing blue suits and afros. That was the Plenty Good Room album by the Breath of Life Quartet.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, man, if ever I do a quartet album, that's what I'm going to name it. In honor of Sheldon Kilby and his arrangements and all the guys, both past and present, in the Breath of Life Quartet. I've never met Sheldon Kilby. It is a dream of mine to just shake his hand and just say thank you. Just to be 6 feet from him, I would lose my mind, first of all. Yeah.
And so you produced this this new project,
Yes.
Blue Suits and Afros, which I think is one of the coolest names out there right now.
Thank you.
Especially since I'm rocking a fro these days.
Come on, you and me both. I'm trying to twist it up, but it's an afro, man. Stop it.
Yeah, I know. Kind of went back the retro way in this COVID era. But having said that, though, just this whole combination of some things that you and I both love, a cappella music, the throwback to the 70s, the shout out to the Breath of Life, who back in the day, they were the standard.
Yes.
You know, I mean, when you heard them sing, and you looked forward to hearing them sing, you got excited about that. You know, Breath of Life concert or get one of those albums back in the day, that's what was happening. That's where it was at. So what's on the project?
So the funny thing about this project is it's called Blue Suits and Afros, but it starts off with the Brothers of Washington, D.C. song, and it's not in 4 parts. I tried. I tried to keep it at 4. The rest of the album is in 4 parts, but that one, man, I've always loved that intro to that song, the mothers and fathers, the sisters. So Get On Board, Old Time Religion, arranged by David Lubega, a Huntsville native.
Oh, wow.
Amazing Grace. I did something in Spanish. I did one verse in Spanish. Then Ezekiel Saw the Will, which was the hardest. I thought I knew that song just verbatim. And I have a rule, speaking of which, I have a rule. If I'm going to cover a song, I don't do verbatim. That's boring. It's already been done before. But just to stay true and pure to what Sheldon Kilby did, I had to honor that. So if we ever, and Ezekiel Saw the Will were, done just the way they were done in the 70s. There's another song, Precious Lord. There are 10 songs on there. Precious Lord doesn't honor, not honor, but I wanted to pay homage to another quartet, Boys to Men, in the style of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. Because that song was arranged in the style of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye when I was in high school with a group called Top Secret.
Oh.
Shh, that was, we were so corny. I'm drawing blanks. I can't remember the other songs, but yeah. But I wanted to just highlight just good 4-part harmony songs. I know in these days, there are a lot of men missing rehearsals. And when to sit down in a rehearsal, sometimes you don't even rehearse. Oftentimes you're just cracking jokes and just telling old stories. And then you might rehearse for a little while. But I know a lot of guys miss that, and females as well. But one of the reasons why I did this 4-part harmony album is this time last year, I was in Africa, in Zambia. And I went with Russell Hospitalis, the former baritone for the King's Heralds. And I saw how huge the amount of appreciation they had for him. It was as if Michael Jordan walked in a Nike camp. They treated him like a king. But I saw how they loved 4-part harmony. I said, well, here's a brand new audience right here. So, business sense, it just made business sense also to do this.
I can't believe that we have 3 minutes left in the broadcast, but that gives me just enough time to do something with musicians whenever they come on. And especially in this rare instance when there's an a cappellian musician. You got to bring something to the mic for us.
Yeah.
Just something to give to the people in the midst of this period of gratitude.
Sing or
yeah, give us something, man. You got the mic.
Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart, in my heart, in my heart, Lord. I want to be a Christian in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy in my heart. Whoa, in my heart, in my heart. Lord, I want to be more holy, and I want to be more loving, and I want to be just like you, Jesus, in my heart. God bless you. Thank you.
Chicago native N'Namdi Bryant, the a cappellian, in the studio today. I must repent for taking 30 years before I invited you on this broadcast. I promise you it will not be another 30 years. Of course, I won't still be doing the show in 30 years, but it won't be another 30 years before we have you back on this broadcast. You have a social media presence. You have a web presence. Mm-hmm. We want people to know how they can connect to you because they've been inspired today by what you had to say.
You.
Tell them how they can do it.
So my website is theacappellian.com, TheAcappellian. That's 2 P's and 2 L's, The A Cappellian. Also on Instagram, it's THEE, The A Cappellian. And Twitter is _A Cappellian. And what am I leaving out? Facebook, the one-man vocal band N'Namdi Bryant, the A Cappellian, for the love of a cappella. Thank you, Kenny, so much for having me.
Man, look, thank you for being a part of this very special Thanksgiving show. And we hope the best for you, wish the best for you. Please give my regards to Rhonda.
Will do.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
I will. I'll be here, I promise. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. We want to thank you for being part of this conversation and this moment of inspiration this afternoon from Brother N'Namdi Bryant, Chicago native, the a cappellian, in the studio today. I got to get over that, folks, because I have definitely been inspired and taken to a good place today. We'll be back in just a moment with more of the broadcast. I'm Kenny Anderson at Second Chance. I hope that you're having a great afternoon.